More baseball talk too, but now Canada's national summer sport. The St. Catharines Junior A Athletics regular season begins Wednesday night at home, Canada Games Park, and this season is a big one.
Everybody's talking, the buzz ain't just a beer. Radio man keeps saying, this could be our year. Huddled up headlights, team colors cross the lawn. Don't matter where you're coming from, we're here to get it gone. It's that hometown crowd, yeah, it's in our blood. And even when the clock runs out, we still raise the cup. It ain't about that hat trick home on a big first down. Just looking for a little something we can rally around. Courtside or on the couch, we still get loud.
It's the only series remaining in the first round of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs. The Whitby Warriors with their backs against the ropes today against the St. Catharines Athletics here at Canada Games Park in St. Catharines. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside Keelan Pilon. Before we get into this one, Keelan, let's talk about 2 nights ago where scoring was at a premium, especially for guys like Lucas Littlejohn, until 39 seconds left in regulation.
Yeah, in moments like this, you need your best players to step up. And Littlejohn, found a little seam on the inside and just put together a big goal there to get it to overtime the other night.
Off the Whitby timeout, that did force the overtime. And then here's Luke Nielsen from BC to the back of the net and to here in a clinching game in St. Catharines.
Yeah, brought in for these moments right here. Finishing big games off, and he gets alone on the crease. And a guy like that, you need him to score that every time. He does a great job there, bringing it back here to go up 2-1.
Has been a huge part of this St. Catharines offense, and now we come in today. You've played in big games on Ontario Championship back in 2021. If you're St. Catharines, you have a chance to win it here at home and finish it. What are they thinking? What's Whitby thinking? Being one of the top teams in Ontario, and facing elimination here today.
I think for Whitby, it's just about dragging them back on that bus to come to Whitby tomorrow. If you can get that to happen, you are in a great spot, and at St. Catharines, that's the last thing you want. You want to wrap this up while you can.
Huge hit looking for the face-off. That's, Nathan Fear. Talked about him last game, has only missed 2 junior games in his career. Him and Keaton Zavitz, Keaton Zavitz +2 in that category, playing 97 and 95 respectively here this afternoon. Zachary Toll over the top, early shot there on Tyden Redlick. Trade deadline pickup for Joel Watson.
I think both goalies in this series have been incredible so far. Ty stole the show last game as well as down here, and I think it's whatever goalie comes out today with a hotter start, I think will be the winner of this game.
Nearly 60 shots on Thursday. Wilson tested early. That may have hit the post in behind him as an early cut there for Nolan Byrne, looking for his first goal of the playoffs. Out to the far side, Cody Innes. Pick up from Burlington. Trying to send it through. That one just bounced past Gavin Howard, who was circling the crease. Shot does come from Chuck Rawson. Also came over in that trade. His first offering up and out of play. It'll stay here with St. Catharines. From the corner. Big jab step. One change in the lineup. Josh Ford will be in for Kyle McMillan. Otherwise exactly the same for Steve Toll's Athletics, who are wearing light blue today, working left to right away from Ty Wilson.
Expect the first 10 minutes of this game to be huge. St. Catharines is going to want to set the tone and put the doubt in Whitby's mind that they can win this game. For Whitby, if you can get the first couple goals here, maybe that thought starts to creep in to St. Catharines' mind that they're going to have to go back for Game 5.
Lucas Littlejohn, cross floor, brought down by Ryan Langiel. Played his first game of the playoffs on Thursday night and was an absolute force. It'll come back to Littlejohn. Moving screen, and then a late shot from Littlejohn. He'll be sent to the box here. An early penalty from Kyle Coulter. Kyle Coulter, Mark Smith, Roger Nurse, the 3 officials. Littlejohn was fired up, took an unsportsmanlike penalty at the end of that game, and really need him to have a level head here in this game today.
Yeah, that's just a penalty you can't have. That's self-inflicted, and you're going to put a good St. Catharines man up on the floor here early.
1 goal in the first period on Thursday night. It was an outside shorthanded marker from Ty Stainhouse. Stayed that way until 15 minutes into the second period as Rawson will ring one off the pipe. Rebound picked up by Whitby in their red uniforms today. Blue lettering going right to left off the visitors' bench. Tryson Stewart. The lefty setting a screen for Ryan Langiel. He'll slot back in with Blake Mason. Out, the only lineup change for Whitby from the game on Thursday. Langiel, swim move, trying to beat a double team. Shoots on the run. Going to chase down the rebound, but it doesn't get out of Wilson's crease.
I really like Langiel. He came in last game and was a big presence on the offensive side. He's a big body, he's hard to move, and he really counters the big St. Catharines defense well.
Bit of an underrated defense, I would say, in St. Catharines here. Still 1 minute on their power play, though. I'm sure we'll talk about them throughout the game. Tolt shot. Caught by the stick of Redlick, a San Diego Seals draft pick in last year's draft. Lee stuffed as he tried to come across the line. Still got it to Gabriel Sorchetti. Jamison Bucktooth out playing high defense, as is Josh Ford. Sorchetti cross floor, lets a shot go. That one wide. Had one hand ripped off his stick from the outside. Long rip there, gets on target from Owen Tapper. 3.5 gone here in our opening period, scheduled for 3:20s. 15 seconds remaining on the Little John penalty. Chuck Ross in here, backdoor. Redlick nicely to his right to make the stop. Does reset the shot clock though, and St. Catharines will wait for the penalty to expire. Outside, Nielsen found the end boards with his shot and trying to break out. Not able to do so was Jack Oldman, one of 10 graduates here on this Whitby roster, 14 for St. Catharines. Little John to Byrne. Nolan Byrne all the way across floor. Found Oldman, big high step off the boards and then the back of the net. Pass through center. Too high for Ryan Barker. He was looking back at the intended target. Now down floor, Logan Fletcher. Bit of a hit there to Redlick. So he was throwing a pick in the corner. Whitby will get it back in though. Byrne. Stewart creating room there. Max Weatherup, the rookie. Back to the graduating Little John. One of 5 players from the 2022 Minto Cup winning Warriors team.
I think for Whitby, it's going to be really interesting to see number 22, Nolan Byrne, one of the most prolific scorers all year long, yet to find the net in this series. If they can get him going, I think that's when things can start to go Whitby's way more in this series.
I think that's probably why you see the addition of Tryson Stewart in there alongside Langiel, trying to create some space for Byrne to work on that left side. Outside shot for St. Catharines off the left arm of Redlick. Bouncing ball up towards center. Innes knocked down. Never gave him the reset, although he did stay onside. Now in the stick of Ben Cromer, getting pinballed around, and finally ball's going to pop free. This is on Whitby's shot clock. Little John can't pick up. He'll whack it back one-handed to the timeline.
What a slick little play there by Little John to scoop that back to the guy at half.
Rough and tumble start to this first period. Cutter! And Wilson stands his ground there. I believe that was Luke Robinson cutting in on the back door. Bit of a miscue coming off the bench for St. Catharines. They've got it settled as Zachary Toll rushes into the fray now. 5 shots apiece. Latest offering hits off a defender. Will bounce around from Logan Fletcher and in front of the Whitby bench, Bucktooth. A little tap dance move to keep it away from the timeline, but then the shot clock goes.
A couple possessions there in a row for St. Catharines where I think they want to look to get inside a little more. It's kind of settling for the outside look there early in the shot clock. I think they can work it down a little bit and really tire this Whitby defense out.
Keaton Zavitz, normally an offensive player, stepping up on D against Burns, stuffed him. Now Little John looks to bounce it through the 5-hole. Wilson, no room. Ari Steinhaus down the far boards, just cleared the timeline. Will flip to Innes. Circling the net, older brother Ty Steinhaus. Back up top to Lucas Nielsen. Former Salmon Belly spins away from pressure. Back up top, Steinhaus again. Working it from the corner, can't get a shot past the double team, and then late one there. Whitby's bench calling for a penalty as they got the same call from Little John. I think Little John's was a bit later than that from Steinhaus.
Another good possession there by Whitby, though, defensive. They're really locking down this St. Catharines offense to start us early.
Close to an over and back at the line, but Whitby keep it and will give to Ty Jesso. Jesso, no room to run. Little John had a bit of a gap, couldn't let the shot fly. His flip back to Soroketti, bounces away, and Fear will come out on a 2-on-1 out with Trent Robertson. Came streaming too fast off the Whitby bench, though, so the Warriors, Athletics slow it down with Toll out to the far boards with 2 minutes away from the halfway mark of this first period. Toll flipped it up top in one move. Bucktooth gets it back to the intended target. Now the shot, Fletcher found the end glass, and it's Whitby pulling it back over center again.
This game has a feel to the game 3. Kind of a slower start from both teams compared to the start we saw in game 2 by both of them.
Langiel has this knocked out of his stick. He'll pick it back up out of the corner. Oldman coming over the top. Julian Belair wants the pass, not going to get it. As it's still from the outside, Langiel, who shoots. Up for grabs. They're going to give St. Catharines possession there, but now it'll be a reset for Whitby with Oldman bringing it down. Only difference, we had a number of penalties to start that game on Thursday. Just the one to Little John here. Byrne close to the crease. Shot over the shoulder, and Ari Steinhaus turned on the afterburners, and they're going to call Whitby for too many men. Trying to catch up to the transition of Ari Steinhaus. Back to older brother Ty again. This would be the second power play already of the period for the Athletics. 0 for 2 the whole game as they looked onto the crease for the quick stick. Penalty shot.
And I think it's the speed of Steinhaus that really causes this penalty. He's just so good in transition. They send a guy early. It is a clear breakaway, which by the rules is a penalty shot. So it's a good call here by Roger Nurse.
One that we rarely see. And this is not going to sit well with the Whitby coaching staff. Jordy Jones-Smith was arguing as it was happening and still upset as Jameson Bucktooth is going to come in and be the shooter for St. Catharines. Stutter step, shot, and Redlick is going to catch it in the right pad.
What a job there by Redlick. You got a shooter like Jameson Bucktooth who's just so accurate. I'm almost shocked to see not as many fakes from Bucktooth here, but he takes the slow stroll in here, kind of picks his spot, but Redlick stays with him all the way, and he just follows the ball, makes a great save there. Huge for Whitby to get out of that without a goal against.
Patience of Redlick, you see it on that replay, not moving on any of those fakes. I know Bucktooth did slow down and was right on top of him, but to stand his ground there and not give him anything, that was exceptional defense and goaltending from Redlick. Back to the face-off. Ford coming in. Return pass falls errant away from Zavitz, who just kind of got caught out on a numbers game. We were talking to the coaching staff beforehand, just saying too many righties on offense. And, you know, with him being a graduating player as well, to develop next level, he's going to need that experience, getting it really well and actually holding his own defensively for the Athletics.
Yeah, he's done very well. And another name you had mentioned was Josh Ford. It's huge for St. Catharines to get him back in the lineup. I think he's their leader out the back end. He's been one of their best players all year.
Low shot. Oh, look at Wilson standing that inches from the line off the stick of Soroketti.
This first goal feels big. It feels like the first one's going to be a big momentum shift. The longer you play without a goal, the more important that first goal gets.
Rawson with open space, headed to the rack in the left arm of Redlick. Pops out again. Bucktooth secures the rebound, however. Rawson up top, a couple of seals. Not enough for Toll to get a shot away. Plays it to the corner, Nielsen. Has options for Innes up top. He's the shooter, off the end boards. Bounces straight back to Ethan Lee. Ethan Lee gonna take off in transition. Got blown up after shooting high. And now it's down for Toll the other way. Off the toe of Redlick. Back down floor again. Lee still on top of the crease. The bench calling for a crease violation. Not gonna get it. First goal to Whitby.
And we start to see here, the game opened up there for the first time. A little bit of a track meet as the ball went back and forth and back and forth. It starts with Lee here with a quick shot. It's picked up by Pilon, who's going to send it all the way down for Toll, who has a good look here, picks a good spot, and then it's just quick transition from Whitby here. They pick it up quick. They keep the ball hot. Ethan Lee stays down in his position. Nobody picks him up in St. Catharines, and they don't even have an argument on the crease call. That's a good goal.
Oldman into the corner. Garrett Morrison, our camera operator, shout out to him too. That is hard work going 200 feet back and forth. And still keeping it to get a good shot of that goal, the opening one for Whitby. Swim move from Byrne, cross floor here. Jack Oldman brings it down and scores, wheeling straight through the middle.
Wow. Two quick ones from Whitby. I said the first one was going to be big. Now the second one's even bigger. And Jack Oldman's a kid who just impresses you on so many levels. He's probably the best draw man in the league, but he's upped his game. He worked on it all summer, I've been told, and he's just become an offensive threat now as well. And he gets over the top and just finds the 5-hole there on Ty Wilson for two quick goals in about 20 seconds.
Whitby did put together a bit of a run. Actually, both teams put together a run. 7 goals in, 3.5 minutes near the end of that second period. But outside of that, there really wasn't a lot of momentum to be had back in game number 3.
I think this series has been back and forth a lot. As you've seen with the other series, this is the most competitive one we've had, and it's been back and forth. The team that can get a run and stay on it, I think, is going to be successful.
Just outside of 8 minutes left to go. Whitby up 2-0, leading the shot department 10-8 as well. Jamison Bucktooth back with it. Chuck Rawson. Popping out of the pile there was Toll. His bouncer wide. Rawson will get it back with less than 5 to shoot. Looking for the top corner. Did skim it off the post. I don't think Toll realizes there was a reset. Still trying to work it out of the corner. And now it'll slow down with Rawson again. Cody Ennis coming off the bench. Nielsen all the way back across for Rawson. Behind the back from Bucktooth. Rawson does the same. Then Bucktooth shot off of Redlick.
That's pretty offense, though. I think that's more what St. Catharines is looking for. Let their creative players get into those spots where they can do those kind of things so they can bounce back from those 2 goals only 29 seconds apart.
Steve told us before game number 3, would love to see Rawson shoot a little bit more. You saw him in the little give and go with Bucktooth. Pretty good example of that. Keep your eye on 33. Calling for the ball here and wants to shoot. Going to sidestep over the top. Will pass again, but there's a delayed penalty coming. Shot off the end boards. This will be the 3rd one of the period. The St. Catharines were just 0 for 2. 2 nights ago, outside shot scores. Gavin Howard with the extra attacker.
Gavin's one of those kids who's been an A his whole life. He grew up here and everything, so you love to see this. He picks a short side spot there on the goalie, and that's a big goal. With a power play on deck there, they don't need it. They get back into this game, and now we're 2-1 here with 6 minutes, 53 seconds to play.
It is a big one. You can start to sense not just Whitby with those 2 back-to-back goals. If they got another one, that 3-goal difference in this series seems a lot huger the way the goalies have been performing, but also For my money, St. Catharines have a tend to hold their sticks a little bit tighter when they get down those goals as well. So good to get one back and stay within one here for the home side, again with a chance to close this one out here this afternoon. Nolan Byrne back in the corner. He'll go up to Langiel. Out there with Soroketti. He was looking to throw the pick. Pass goes to Little John. Scoots wide of the top corner. Soroketti will chase it back down, but now there's less than 5 to shoot. Long bomb, nowhere near the mark, and some contact there between Barker and Little John after the play. But everyone goes their separate ways, at least for now. 6 minutes left. Period number 1. Rawson feeding through to the far side. Innes got knocked down in the middle.
You felt the energy in this rink pick up again after that goal. It did go a little quiet after that second goal went in from Oldman. And to score that quickly gets the energy back in the building for a good crowd here today at Canada Games.
Near packed house, actually, both sides. Lawn chairs are out down by the glass. And you're right, as Tristan Stewart comes in, returns to the lineup, and ties it up.
Big goal for Stewart there. Like you said, out of the lineup last game. Whenever you're out of the lineup, you want to get back in and make an impact to stay in the lineup. And this is a great cut. He's getting to the middle. The ball swings here, and you see him at the top of your screen. He starts coming over the top, just finds a little seam, and he gets tied a bite on that first fake there. And that's a nice goal. That's getting to the middle. That's where goals are scored in this league.
3-1 Whitby. And you talked about it earlier with St. Catharines about them getting to the middle. It's now Whitby. Trison's one of those players that can do that and shows it off there with a cut. Really the first time we called his name today, touching the ball, and it ends up in the back of the net.
Coaches can sound like a broken record with get to the middle, get to the middle, get to the middle. But really, it is what decides ball games, that and loose balls. So if Whitby keeps doing that, I do like their chances as this game goes on.
Ford again returning to the lineup, starting the transition break. Ran himself out of space and kept with the play, as now Zavitz lost the stick and the ball down in the corner. A little bit of an argument there between him and Roger Nurse as two Whitby Warriors break out in a shot there. Off the stick of Wilson, rebound sky high. Back to the timeline. Bucktooth off the bench. 3 goals for Whitby, 9 different players already with points. 3 different goal scorers, one of those Titan Redlick. Nielsen to Rawson. Waited for space, shoots, and scores.
You said it. They want him to shoot more, right? There it is. It's just a goal scorer's goal to me, right? You got a kid like Chuck who's scored a ton of goals in this league. He kind of just gets into his spot. It's not the greatest look in the world, but that's one you're happy with him shooting any day of the week. And now that's too low on the left side there of Redlick.
And back within a 1-goal margin. And St. Catharines gets it from Ross, and a goal and an assist for Chuck Rawson here in this game.
It feels so hard for teams to pull away in this series. Whenever someone scores, there's an answer on both sides.
Langiel from the outside, trying to go 5-hole. There's been a lot of shots down by the feet of Ty Wilson in the series. Pat Gregoire mentioned he's not sure if that's a scout or just playing the averages, but the averages haven't gone the way of Whitby at the feet or really anywhere else for Ty Wilson in this series.
No, he's been their best player. When your goalie's your best player, good things happen.
Lucas Nielsen on the crease. And the ball taken away there. How about rookie Max Weatherup? He's had a phenomenal series as well.
Yeah, it's always impressive to see a young guy come up, right, and immediately have an impact on a junior A team, and a good one at that.
Soroketti off the bench. Little John. Immediately swarmed every time he touches the ball. Little John did shoot, but right into the chest of Wilson. His younger brother Cooper, the backup goaltender tonight for Titan Redlick and the Whitby Warriors. Graduating player Oliver Vagno backing up Ty Wilson. Nielsen sends a skipper in the direction of the Whitby net, not on target. Warriors think better of pushing transition with a pair of athletics back. Byrne lowering his shoulder, knocked down Bucktooth, goes right back at number 22. Ball meanwhile in the stick of Oldman. Littlejohn has set the screen. Pass returns back up top, low shot off the hand of Wilson. Heads up down floor, it's Rawson again from his wrong side. Redlick makes the save. Are we going to open up yet again? Last time we did that, we went back and forth 3 consecutive times, ended with a Whitby goal. Looks like they're going to slow things down. Pass in between Julian Belair, Owen Lee. Now Lee comes back with a hit on Fear just as he brought the ball down. Kept his footing and will clear center. Nathan Fear past another defender. Oldman and Fear collide. Back down in the corner, right in front of the Minto Cup banner, reminding us that'll happen here in St. Catharines August 16th to 24th at the Meridian Center. Ty Steenhouse to Rawson. Shot after a couple little stutter steps over top of the net. Toll, same story from the other side. It's a violation against St. Catharines.
This game's at a second gear here these last 5 to 6 minutes. Both teams have settled in. A couple goals have gone through. You're starting to see some good offense here from both teams, and the defenses and the goaltenders, everybody's starting to really lock into this game here.
And a 10-minute rest coming up in a minute 20 as well. Outside for Littlejohn. Looked like the shot changed direction and may have been headed for the top corner. Man down floor again, Gavin Howard for a second time. Catching up to him, Julian Belair to knock it out of his stick.
That's just hustle, man. That is what a coach's dream. An O guy getting back like that, giving that effort to stop a goal.
Belair started his career with the Orangeville Northmen, now here in Whitby. This ball bounces back towards the restraining line. Byrne to the outside, Soroketti. Sidearm shot off of the arm of Wilson. Picked up by Weatherup with like 38 seconds left here in the period. Soroketti to Weatherup. Waits for a one-man change. It'll be Langiel coming on. Langiel back to Soroketti. Weatherup stopped through the middle. Littlejohn in there as well. Gesso back to the lefty. It's Soroketti to the crease. No shot. Fear was there. Now Gesso back across to his wrong side. Scores.
That's a big goal. 11 seconds left. Those are the ones that hurt if you're St. Catharines, right? Goals at the very start of the period, the very end are the ones that hurt the most. And this is really all Sorchetti. He gets it low, he carries it back up, he doesn't panic, and he just finds Gesso on his wrong side. Maybe one that Wilson wants back, but it's placed in a great spot, and that's a big goal for Whitby going into the second period.
2 more players with points now, put it up to 11 already on the stat sheet, and 4 goals for Whitby here in the first period as we go back to the face-off dot. Pushed ahead by Oldman, and as he was rushing down in disbelief as the timeout was called, by who? It doesn't look like the bench called it based on their reaction.
No, lots of confusion here. Oldman put his arms up, the coaches have their arms up. They heard a timeout call somewhere, but maybe didn't want it, but they're going to get 8 seconds here to draw something up for one of their best old guys.
Both teams do have 2 timeouts to use any time in the game, but 1 per period. As we look at some of this action here in the last few minutes. Watch Ty Gesso here, 7. He'll come over top of everybody to his wrong side to end up scoring this goal.
And like I said, it starts with Sorchetti just dragging the defense low. Watch, he gets everyone low. He brings 2 defenders with him. They drag him low, and Gesso just finds a little soft spot. It's not the greatest look in the world, but, finds that far corner.
Redlick will be on the bench here for the final 8 seconds. Quick start up top, Soroketti, Belair. Back into the corner. Through the middle, they were looking to play for Littlejohn. Byrne will bring it back down and swarmed by Ford and then knocked down to the turf. Nothing doing on the timeout call there for the Whitby Warriors, but They lead 4-2 after one.
Yeah, I thought it was a good period for both teams there. I thought it was a bit of a slow start. We're starting to feel the game. I expect a high-energy second period with a lot on the line.
It's the last series here remaining in the first round of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs. Toronto Beaches have advanced. Peterborough Lakers have advanced. Orangeville Northmen as well. We await the schedule for the second round. Again, it will be reseeded. So the top seed, Orangeville Northmen, are waiting to see if St. Catharines get through. It'll be Orangeville St. Catharines. Otherwise, Orangeville Peterborough, and then Toronto Whitby. But the best way to find that out is to download the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League app. Visit OntarioJuniorLacrosse.ca, and you'll get all your stats, schedules, and scores there as we head into the second round. St. Catharines, chance to win the series today, are trailing 4-2 after the first period. We'll take a timeout and be back in about 9.5 minutes. Here to St. Catharines, you're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs.
Gatorade. With electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
Let's go, raise up one time, go get it, it's yours, let's shine, come on.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
You can catch the fun with lacrosse, Canada's national summer sport. Everyone can experience the excitement of lacrosse, where fun meets fitness and friends are made. Lacrosse is one of the youngest organized sports children can play. And with 66 clubs throughout Ontario, everyone can get in on the fun. Visit playlacrosse.com. Our interactive map will help you find a lacrosse club in your area. Join the Ontario lacrosse community today. Ask a parent before going online.
Back live in St. Catharines, 4-2. The Warriors on top of the Athletics after that first period. Another one where scoring hard to come by. Thought we would get one early on a penalty shot here from Jamison Bucktooth, but Redlick going to stand his ground and say no here.
Just follows him all the way in. You know, not too many fakes from Bucktooth, but it's a good job by Redlick. Just stays with him, doesn't bite for anything, and just makes that easy save.
And all the offensive power on both sides of these benches. It's Luke Robertson and Jack Oldman who get the scoring started for Whitby.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a track meet. The ball went up and down, I think, 3 or 4 times, and St. Catharines just kind of fell asleep on the back end. And then Oldman here does a really good job planting his foot, getting over top, getting the defense into a spot they don't want to be in, which is getting over top, and just finds the 5-hole.
Then St. Catharines do get on the board here as Gavin Howard finding a little seam through Redlick. Celebration as well. Tryson Stewart returning to the lineup, and this is why he's back in.
Yeah, this is what we talked about, getting to the middle with speed, and it just puts, like I said, the St. Catharines team is in a bad spot. They fall behind. Nice little fake and finish by Stewart. And then the last one here by St. Catharines is just Rawson getting into a shooting spot, and it's that low left side of Redlick I've noticed now twice. That's 2 goals there. Maybe that's something St. Catharines can look at. And then, like we talked about, big goal end of the period here. Justo just gets to his wrong side, picks that far corner. That's a really, high-level shot to take, and it's a big one there for Whitby to now be up 4-2 as we roll into the second period.
4 goals off 17 shots for Whitby, 2 off 13 showing here in-house. Athletics went 0 for 2 on the power play, also scored with an extra attacker on a delayed one. No power plays for Whitby in that first period as we switch sides here. Redlick in the net now down to our left, and Ty Wilson off to our right. Ryan Langiel with a pair of assists. Chuck Rawson a goal and an assist. And 11 different Warriors on the points sheet. Shows you how they were sharing the rock there in that first period.
If you can get depth scoring in the playoffs, it's next level. If you can get those guys who maybe don't put up all the points, that'll win you some series.
Nathan Fear off the face-off. Back to the restraining line. Toll will wait it out and get the offensive team out there, which includes Chuck Rawson. Sidestep through the middle. Bucktooth, the little pick and roll. Picked up by Toll. Lucas Nielsen with it. Rawson's got a lot of space to work with. Ty Steinhaus shoots from up top. And this one will bounce back towards the corner. Rawson and Weatherup collide. Also in there, Owen Lee. Still looking for a triple team, and that's going to go Whitby's way.
Something interesting to look for there, I just noticed. Whitby's defense was really packed in, almost like they were playing a zone, a box and one. Maybe something to throw St. Catharines' offense off here, but I think it's something to look for here as the game goes on. Look how packed in Whitby's defense is.
Outside shot, Soraketti off the crossbar. This one's going to bounce back near center and put up into the Whitby bench. So it'll be back St. Catharines' way. Mitchell Armstrong, one of 3 players on the Athletics with NLL experience. Up top, Toll will put it down towards the crease. Just skipped away from Howard, and now it's back down floor. Wilson coming out of the crease to play it away from Robert Baxter. Sutter Pilon clears center. Pass here to Bucktooth. Jamison Bucktooth, Cody in his hard shot. And Redlick will save it. No rebound to come out of the crease.
It's a good pick and roll. You just hit him center there. Take out, just get back to that. Just got to pick your corners on Redlick. He's too good to hope for one to bounce in off him.
Stewart taking top spot this time. Langiel and him play catch. Burn down on the crease. It'll come to outside Julian Belair. His shot found the glass. Now 5 seconds left to get a real shot in on net, and they 2 off the post. Looked like it might have surprised Wilson a little bit. Burn. He reset the clock out of his stick and up and out play again. Headed down the tunnel.
Could hear the frustration from him there. Great loose ball, just unfortunate.
Transition work for the Athletics there. Bouncer wide of the net. This is going to be played back. Gavin Howard coming away with the ball. Bench wanted a slashing call. None going to come here against Whitby. Toll turns back to the restraining line. Bucktooth had to clear out of the way. Toll's going to take it to the crease, and down is Redlick with the save. Oldman going to stay up after passing to Soroketti. Down in the corner, Langille looking for Littlejohn through the middle, and the Athletics not allowing Lucas Littlejohn any space in through the middle of the set at all in this series, and yet again from Ari Steinhaus. Off the bench, here comes Nielsen, spins back, shoots in the crease. Redlick still coming away with the stop.
You mentioned Littlejohn. A big notice that we've seen is how tight they are guarding him. They guard him out, they guard him in, they'll follow him to the boards. If somebody's going to beat the A's, they do not want it to be 51 in red.
In the conversation for MVP of the league, just 3 goals here in the series. Tracy Stewart back for Byrne again. Still yet to break his maiden here in the playoffs. Bouncer down, big collision. Littlejohn goes down. Now in the corner, more contact. They do call for a reset and another hard hit, taking the Whitby player down in the corner, and he's still on his all fours. Soroketti getting up slowly as play continues here. Soroketti's going to head to the bench. Burns shot off of Wilson. Rebound to Langille. Soroketti just now making his way to the bench. Extra taking his place, Ty Gesso. As Langille gets pushed out wide from the net. Langille now turns back, gets a good shot off, but Wilson is there. And another good defensive set for the Athletics.
I'm not sure if Langille was hurt or what was going on those first 2 games, but he's been really impressive so far. That was a slick move for a big fella there to get underneath and find a great look.
Enos to the far side. It is the playoffs. I don't think anybody's not hurt at this point, but you're right. Definitely making his presence known in these last 2 games. That shot off Redlick through his legs. And he went and had a conversation with someone behind the glass after that stop. Max Weatherup to Langille again. Head fake. Robertson keeps him outside. Still turning and firing Langille. Ball back in the stick of Steinhaus. And down floor, Zavitz drops his shoulder into Lee before ringing one off the pipe.
That's Keaton's game right there. He is one of the best transition players in this league. Just obviously wants to bury that one, but that's the speed and physicality he brings.
Delayed penalty coming up here, the first one to the Athletics on the day. Redlick has to make the long run here in the second period to the bench. Tryson Stewart will be the extra attacker. Had to allude to falling Oldman in the middle. He's slow to get up. Soroketti drilled, just coming back onto the carpet after taking that hit in the corner. And we've got a pair of penalties coming up now to St. Catharines.
The first one's going to be on Robertson here, I believe, for that right there. Just, little low as he's cutting through the middle there and on the back. And I believe the second one here is Barker. Just coming up here with Pilon, making a play, and gets him a little high there as Soroketti starts to turn. So a big opportunity here for the Warriors.
And Oldman came off the floor and went down the tunnel. So we talked about him, not just the best draw taker in the league. He'll take offensive shifts. He'll play back on D. Could be a big loss for Whitby, although the trainer has now come back to the bench. Byrne on the crease. There it is, his first of the playoffs. Comes on the power play.
If Byrne can start to get hot, it brings a whole new dynamic to this Whitby offense. They don't do anything crazy here. They just kind of set it up. He starts to drag the ball low, and right off the swing, you can see Soroketti does a good job of keeping Zavitz occupied, and Byrne just finds that little backdoor spot for a quick stick goal, and they still have a minute 43 in power play due to how quick they struck there.
Man, it's been a rough minute and a half or so for Garrett Soroketti. Took another shot, standing in there on that goal. As Belair gets his first point of the game, making it now 12 Warriors. Weather up to Byrne, still in the power play. Another minute and 20 left in that second minor. It'll be Robertson still serving. Byrne to Soroketti. Back to the far side, a bouncer off a body in the direction of Langeal, although he loses his footing now. And Nathan Fear there looking for the ball, not going to get it before the shot clock. Armstrong on his horse to the bench, trying to get the quick stick, and another post for the captain, Keaton Zavitz. All right, Steinhaus, bit of a shove there on Little John. Caused him to miss the pass initially, but we'll bring it down here for the next 45 of this power play. Langeal, Soroketti, Byrne. Back to Little John. Langeal setting the screen. That shot may have hit Belair on its way through to Wilson. But he'll hang on and make sure there's no rebound. 12 and a half to go in the period. 5-2 lead Whitby. 25 seconds left to go for the Athletics to kill the penalty. Can't quite do it. There's a 4-second difference. Penalty clock over shot clock. Steve Toll looks like he's trying to land 8 different aircraft at the same time, directing traffic here as Ty Steinhaus gets mugged, working his way through the center of the floor.
I think that's a good no call there. Just physical defense, gets to Ty there. Obviously a tough situation, 4-on-5, but I like the refs putting away the whistle there.
5-on-5 now as the penalty has expired. Whitby scoring on one of those 2 power play opportunities. Stewart, pass here, and down on the far side is an Athletics player and a Whitby player coming back to the box. I believe it's going to be Ty Gesso.
Just an off-ball play here. Right as the ball swang from low to high from the right side. Yeah, just gets his stick right up into Fletcher's face there. I think that's an easy one for the official. If the stick gets up, the arm normally goes up. So that was a rather easy call there, and a big power play now.
We remind you as well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching live, be sure to click the like button. This is where all the action will be all the way through the playoffs. Bucktooth's initial shot hit a defender and went wide. They'll get a second chance, putting it up top for Rawson here. Passes to Nielsen. Behind his back, Bucktooth. Bit of a fake shot first. Redlick hung in and stopped himself from falling so he could collect the second shot.
The idea there from Bucktooth was brilliant. He made everything look like he was going far side and tried to pull that sidearm back to the short. Just a great save there by Redlick. Maybe Bucktooth didn't get the ball where he wanted it, but it's a great idea.
Langeal off the bench. Collected the ball in a short hop and then fed it up into the safety netting. Jameson Bucktooth, if you haven't been following us all year, a year off last year, played Junior B after a trade from Orangeville, where 2 years ago he was just disgusting. Toll off the shoulder and in. Power play goal, St. Catharines now.
Just a nice little power play set here. Toller's going to come up from the crease as Innes carries, and Nielsen just sets a low pick, little fake far side short, and that's an elite shot. There's not a lot of room there for Zach Toll to put that ball, but he gets us back to a 2-goal game again.
This might be the battle of the best goal songs in the league. We've got Jump On It from St. Catharines and Heave Away from Whitby. And we're hearing them a bunch over the last couple days. Little John. Stewart back in the corner for Byrne. In through the middle, Little John somehow caught that. Then got stuffed, feeding it up floor. Zavitz off to the races. Steinhaus not able to get it there.
Big possession here for the A's. If they can get this back to a 1-goal game quickly, all of a sudden we're back into another one-goal game.
Well, they have throughout the series, save for maybe that first game, but why would it stop now? Nielsen shoots right into Redlick. That one was a bit later in the shot clock. As we're halfway through this period, 5-3 Whitby. They lead in shots as well, 25-22 here in our middle frame. St. Catharines leading the series, however, 2-1. It is a best of 5. Could end here in the next 30 minutes or so. Cromer. I don't know how many pirouettes that was before picking it up, but he'll put it back in front of his own bench for Langeal. Getting instructions from the coaching staff. Littlejohn to Soroketti. Burns sets the screen. Soroketti chased back into that corner. Played back Littlejohn in and out of his stick. Will pick it up off the carpet. Quick shot. Rebound to the side of the crease. Belair. He'll face a double team. Flip back to Connor Blondin. Chuck Rawson was probably the best graduating offensive player on the trade block at the deadline. Connor Blondin might have been the best graduating defender on the block. Both of them come to St. Catharines as Bucktooth. Quick shot there on the crease. Cody Innes, he'll step in, get the own rebound, shovels it towards, and Redlick out of the crease to gobble up the loose ball.
To your point about Blondin, when you see him in person, he's one of the biggest human beings on the planet, about 6'6", 240, and you can tell when you're in front of him. So that presence on the St. Catharines back end has been a huge piece for them.
Langeal cross floor, Ty Jesso. Josh Ford got there quickly. Again, Ford making his return to this series with an outlet pass, looking for Zavitz. On the run, twist shot, and that one off Redlick. Keaton Zavitz can't buy one here today, but getting a ton of chances.
If Zavitz can find the back of the net after 3 chances like that, the roof's going to come off this place. The place wants him to get one.
Littlejohn outside, Weather up in front. Shot high off the window. Langeal will bring it back down. Byrne wants the reset. Officials asking for one, but count will be on the floor now. Littlejohn to Langeal. He got knocked down. Another play that is jumped on right away by the Athletics, who have numbers. And now we're going to pull out and look for the change. Rawson into the corner for Bucktooth, all the way back across floor. Tolles low shot. Redlick not sure where it is as it's played back to the near side in the stick of Tapper. Littlejohn, stutter step in front of Rawson. Shot off the post and back out. Collision coming here as Ford has it. Ford looks to the bench for Nielsen, a low shot, and Redlick will hang on. Track meet in full effect here at Canada Games Park. In front of a pretty good crowd here in St. Catharines. Not bad for a Saturday matinee. Bucktooth down to Toll. Bucktooth, the return pass, takes it to the corner. Just lifted it back in center. Stainhouse hard hit, knocked him down. Toll shot off a defender. Bounces in front of the crease. And pushed back in was Jack Oldman.
Good ball movement there by the A's. Got a couple touches. Didn't get the look they wanted, but the ball's starting to hum from side to side.
Knocked out of the stick here of Bucktooth, though, and then run over was Howard. Owen Lee's got tons of space down in on Wilson, who shrugs to the shoulder and knocks it out of play. We'll keep it here with Whitby.
Breakaways on both ends, but both goalies standing tall for every breakaway opportunity pretty much so far.
Littlejohn drags it back. We'll play here to Belair. Meanwhile, Littlejohn had snuck his way to the crease. Pilon picks him up there in the corner. Sorketti back through to Byrne. Not sure if he was trying to find Jesso in the corner or not, but either way, it slams off the boards and goes all the way down. Ari Steinhaus to the trailing Lucas Nielsen off the bench. That one up out of play. Landed right at the feet. I think that one stuck in the rafters. Zachary Toll to Rawson. Back across for Toll. Mishandled it. He'll play it from the corner. Cross for Bucktooth. Tried to fake it, and fake was too hard. It rolled out of the stick. Redlick up to center. Weather up. They were calling heads up as Zavitz had him in the crosshairs. Now it falls out of his stick, down for Rawson. Chuck Rawson sidestepping his way through, and the last second shot off Redlick. Here's Ryan Langiel. Pardon me, Owen Lee. Same knee wraps as Langiel, but the 18 instead of the 14. Here's the offensive lefty. Langiel now, quick stick. Little John seems to be trying everything here, and Little John will just save it back at center, and he'll have to hang back on D as Ford had the interception. Ben Cromer coming out in the face of Ryan Andrews. Rawson to Innes off the bench. Back for Toll. Sidearm shot. Zachary Toll. Big rugby scrum for it in front of the crease, and it'll be called back in.
Toll's been getting to the middle well. Now it's just finding that, he had that power play marker, but he's getting to good spots. Now it's just finishing.
Toll from the top of the fan shot there off the shoulder of Redlick. Brings it back in and sends it down floor to Littlejohn. Remember, got stuck up on defense that last time. Now he'll be knocked down. Lost his glove in the process. Slowed down here with Rawson. Him, Innes, Minto Cup champions in 2023 when they were with the Burlington Blaze. Part of that stacked roster. Bucktooth. Low offering from Howard. He's already got one in the game. Down to 3.5 left in the period. Still 5-3 Whitby.
If you're going to be shooting from your offside, you got to either maybe pull a low to high back to the far side. High to high right to the 5 holes. Probably not going to be the look you're looking for.
Byrne will drag it back into the corner. Cutting Little John out of his stick, and you can just see the frustration building. Not used to being stuffed as the way he's been in this series. A bouncer there from Armstrong in transition. Misses everything before going up out of play.
How about the speed of Armstrong there? Just took off, ran past 3 players, including Zavitz, and made a pretty good chance out of it.
There is speed on both of these benches, especially the Athletics, up and down. Langiel. Back up top now for Max Weatherup. Looking to pass to Soroketti. Missed him off the stick. And now the Athletics carried across center. Ryan Parker. Down the boards to Toll. Back up top, Rawson. He'll drag it back in towards the corner. Bucktooth trying to make his way over. He got stopped by Cromer. Change at the bench will open Cody Innes. Back here for Toll. And now Rawson, 5 to shoot. Spinning away Lucas Nielsen. Ran through the crease. Played by Bucktooth at the clock. And got a wrestling match in behind the crease. Nielsen initially got taken down after that shot, and Luke Robinson over top. It'll be Whitby ball.
Interesting little scrum there. Not really sure what happened in the corner. It looked like Nielsen and Robinson kind of just got tied up there, but it's going to stay Whitby ball. We're into that part of the period, though, where we talked about it last period, the late goals, right? We could either go up 6-3 for Whitby or a 1-goal game into the third.
Byrne across floor to Jessup, circled the net. Wilson stands in for another save. Shots even 30-30. Bouncer to Toll off the bench, low on Redlick, and it's in the big summer stick.
Heads up play by Robertson to throw that. There wasn't even anybody there when he threw the ball, but he knew that you guy was going to get to the bench. And once again, another breakaway stop by Redlick.
Whitby took time out in that first period, so St. Catharines with 2 in their pocket here as we come down the stretch. Little John not able to walk out in towards the crease again. Sticks coming up. Little John now chopped down. Him and Robertson got involved at the tail end of that game on Thursday night. And this time, Little John's going to draw a penalty against Trent Robertson.
One of those self-inflicted penalties. You're about to get the ball back. The shot clock's about to expire. I like what Robertson's trying to do. He's trying to be physical with their best player. But that's just one you don't need. The ball's right in front of you. You can pick up that ball and go the other way. I just don't think that cross-check's needed and is going to give Whitby a late power play here with another chance to get a late goal.
It'll even up the power play numbers, 3-3 here in the game. Tyden Redlick came to the bench to grab a drink of water. Ty Wilson going to stand in. Ready up for this final minute and 8 seconds. And that probably mitigates a last-second shot for St. Catharines as well, being able to draw up something. Best they can do 5-on-5 if we get to that situation. Julian Belair, Nolan Byrne, back down for Gabriel Soroketti. Outside, Little John took something off it. And Wilson was still there for the stop. We might find out now as St. Catharines runs in with Ford, the bouncer. And Redlick with the stop. 40 seconds left to go in the period. Whitby going to play it traditional power play. No signal for the timeout. Byrne. Little John to the far side. Gesso. Played here, Soroketti. Belair takes top spot now. Shoots down Main Street and skipped it just wide. They do give him a reset. And 15.8 left. No timeout coming here for Whitby. Byrne. Little John looks at the clock. Him and Byrne keep it high. Nolan Byrne, the C's part. He shoots it. Wilson the stop. And it'll stay in play. Fear one last little bump for him, but a 5-3 lead. 1 goal per side here in this second period. The goaltending and defense is starting to step up, even with the game opening up.
Yeah, I thought that was a big period for both defenses, like you said. Not a lot of great looks, besides maybe in transition. A lot of stuff happened in transition that period, but that's where the goaltender stepped up. Specifically, Redlick with an outstanding period. I think he stopped maybe 5 to 6 breakaways on all of St. Catharines, some of their best players. So it's going to be an interesting third period. We're right where we were at the end of the first.
Comes your way in about 10 minutes. We'll take the timeout. Warriors up 5-3, playing for their season. When we come back, final 20. You're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs from St. Catharines.
Gatorade. With electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
Hey, let's go. Raise up one time. Go get it. It's yours. Let's shine. Come on.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
You can catch the fun with lacrosse, Canada's national summer sport. Everyone can experience the excitement of lacrosse, where fun meets fitness and friends are made. Lacrosse is one of the youngest organized sports children can play. And with 66 clubs throughout Ontario, everyone can get in on the fun. Visit playlacrosse.com. Our interactive map will help you find a lacrosse club in your area. Join the Ontario lacrosse community today. Ask a parent before going online.
back here in St. Catharines for what should be a fantastic finale to this one. 5-3, just 2 goals in the period, but whole ton of action. We'll start with those 2 goals.
First one's on the 4-on-3 power play here, right? They just move the ball quick, and Byrne finds a little soft spot, gets his first of the series. If you're a Whitby fan, I'm sure you're happy to see him get on the board.
And then back the other way, Zachary Toll, same story on the power play.
Yeah, they just open up a nice little spot for him, and that's the goal scorer's goal right there. You can see Redlick comes all the way out, but he finds that short corner. Yeah, it's just a big goal. And then, like we said, St. Catharines only down 2 goals here, but it's not for a lack of chances. Keaton Zavitz alone, I think, has 3 posts in that period. One here off of, a half breakaway where he kind of posts up, and they just keep on coming here, right? He hits another post here on the far side. Keaton's been playing a lot of defense, but he's got a lot of offensive player to his game as well. I'd expect him to find the net with one of these eventually. It's just unlucky so far. He's making good moves. He's beaten Redlick. It's just the post that's had his number here. And that goes for a lot of guys. The speed of Armitage here jumps off the page. He comes right down through 3 people. Bouncer misses the chance, but once again, it's just St. Catharines not being able to bury. Ford with a good move. Maybe the ball didn't go where he wanted to go there. But St. Catharines a little snake bitten on those breakaways. If they can keep that pace up, though, I could see them, kind of turning this game around here and ending up with a lead at the end of this.
If it does end Whitby's way, we will let you know that tomorrow is game number 5, 4 p.m. start time out at Iroquois Park. Only way to see that game is to do it in person. So get yourself to Whitby, make plans for tomorrow. Seeing what the next 20 minutes have in store, of course. If St. Catharines can make the turnaround, it's all done. And download the OJLL app for the schedule announcement for round number 2. Toronto Beaches, Orangeville Northman, Peterborough Lakers all waiting for their opponents in the OJLL semifinals.
Like you said, a potential game tomorrow, but I'd expect both teams to empty the tank right here, right? For Whitby, there is no tomorrow yet,
right.
So they're going to have to empty the tank. And if you're St. Catharines, like I said, as a player, the most demoralizing thing is having the chance to finish it at home and then get dragged onto a bus for a game tomorrow in the middle of the day again.
2:30 start time here. As you said, changed a lot of routines, including the routine of, I know, some of our crew, but 4 o'clock, changing it yet again, shifting it another about hour and a half or so. 3rd period underway here in St. Catharines. In the first round of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs, Whitby remain on the power play for the next 45 seconds.
A goal at the start here can really put the pressure on St. Catharines. And like you said, when they feel like they're gripping their sticks a little bit, when they get a little snake bitten, their offense isn't the same.
Low shot, Little John. He hasn't been on the offensive pace that he had throughout the regular season. Pretty hard to keep that up, to be quite honest with you. I mean, he was close to 50 goal a year, right near the 100-point mark, the points champion in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. But to see him and Byrne this snake bit in the playoffs is somewhat shocking, but credit to St. Catharines' defense and goaltending, as we've said, all series long. Outside Toll cutting through Rawson off the end boards, right to Bucktooth. And Redlick stood his ground to make the save.
You mentioned Little John and how he's not on that pace. So for the whole year, Little John was, one of the major pieces in carrying this team. How do you fix that? Like you've said, 12 players on the board with a point tonight. You can pick up your best players by getting everybody involved.
Outside, Tryson Stewart back to Little John, had to sail it over the defense. That may have forced it to go wide too. Stewart can't bring it down. They do call it over and back. I was wondering if they were going to pick that or the shot clock, but either way, A's possession, down 2 here at home. Pass back to Stainhouse. Bouncer goes through the crease.
Not a bad look from Steinhaus there, right? He gets to an open spot, but in my mind, you can find that shot with 8 on the shot clock as well. Don't need to go so early sometimes. It's not a bad look, but I just think they could have worked a little more for a better look.
Home team's winning the first 2 games of this series. 12-7 Whitby out at Iroquois Park. 12-5 in this building. The 5, probably the surprising part in that at the time. Toll shot here. Rawson is down. Gets up slowly, hobbling a little bit. Still kind of bent over as he gets the ball. Bucktooth with it. Rawson's going to stay in though. Sets a screen. Bucktooth can't get it through Baxter. Back towards the corner. Toll running out. That one bounced nearly in the direction of Rawson, but you can see the grimace under the face mask. He's the first one to the bench.
Like you said, it's the playoffs. Everyone's going to be a little banged up this time of year. Just got to keep working through it. Be there for your teammates. There's trainers for a reason. If you can't go, you can't go, but expect these players to work through basically anything.
Julian Belair back towards the crease. Little John shoots, especially those graduating players like Rawson. Gonna need limbs staying on the carpet as Belair shoots. That one skipped off the leg of Connor Blond, and he shows no effects. And Rawson right back out there, didn't even miss a shift.
That's what you're talking about. Those fifth-year guys, you're going to have to drag them off the floor.
Rawson across to Innes. In through the middle, the cutting Howard had to go off his stick.
It's a tough spot for Howard there. He's got two guys on him. You're feeding one in. Maybe one that you keep using your clock there. Yeah, just a real tough spot for Gavin to be in.
Stewart through Gesso to Langeal. Had a cutting Little John. Ended up going into the stick of Stewart behind the play, but now late in the shot clock, Sorketti off Wilson to reset it. Not going to roll far enough there for Langeal. Mitchell Armstrong had him tied up. They're still arguing over that play.
It seems every time there's a little bit of a mix-up, a little bit of people grabbing. Langeal's right in there every single time, making life hard.
Bucktooth now falls and is slow to get up. Did that in front of Rawson. Paying a little attention to the back or hip area. Wonder if he took a cross check. Under 10 on the shot clock. It's going to bounce back to Lee. Bucktooth looking for revenge. Stick cartwheel out of his hands as then Lee stopped in transition. Byrne down the far side, high stepping. Passes back to Ty Gesso. Now Little John. Belair knocked down, trying to set a screen. Back to Byrne. The spin move. Rebound fell in front of Tapper. Byrne couldn't pick it up cleanly. Noticeable hitch in the step of Byrne as he comes off to the bench now.
Just another guy fighting through it. He's been limping for about a period and a half here, but hasn't stopped him. He's been out almost every shift.
Weatherup will turn out of the corner back to the crease. He gets mobbed as they go down. And Byrne, not a guy who's going to look for excuses, but perhaps something we don't know about could be contributing to the offense as well. As we've said, it is that time of year. 5.5 gone here in this final regulation frame. Out from the corner, Rawson will bring it back down. Goes cross crease looking for Nielsen. And taken away from him to Jack Oldman.
If you're St. Catharines, the earlier you can get that goal to get to one goal, the better. Because then you're not worrying about getting two. It's just one more goal after that.
Oldman cross floor. No Byrne on this set as Stewart sends it back across to Oldman. He'll take two defenders with him, opening shot space for Little John. Although Wilson back there to make another stop. 32 on the afternoon.
What you notice about how they're playing Little John is everything he's gotten is about 10 feet outside the dotted line. They are letting him take that outside shot.
Bucktooth up top, shoots over top of a crowd, and that one sailed even further to go off the end glass. Trying to send it towards the crease, Logan Fletcher, even though Bucktooth looked like he might have been open, and a scrum down in the corner. Titan Redlick in there as well, and we know he can get involved in these. Not this time, as he was actually playing peacemaker.
Redlick's a ton of fun to watch if you see him in that stuff. He is not afraid of any. It almost wishes he was a player sometimes. You can see the coaches right now tell him to calm down. He's the last guy they need to find the penalty box.
Some get into it with a fan behind the glass in that last period. Some jawing back and forth. Little John bouncer. That one straight into the turf and up and out of play. Zachary Toll. Down the boards to Nielsen. Been treated to a good one today. Logan Fletcher coming out now. Bucktooth. Screen in front of him. Back to Rawson. His shot down to the butterfly was Redlick to make the stop. Weather up with the rebound, and it's back over center by backpedaling Eddie Faraday. Owen Tapper to Stewart. Tapper from the corner. Belair, the last one off the bench now. Gesso. This is another set where we haven't seen Byrne, and outside shot there. Comes all the way back towards center. Neither of Tapper or Belair could save possession. It's Zavitz again, and another one high over to the net.
Can't get too frustrated if you're Zavitz. Keep doing the right things. He's playing an unbelievable game. I thought he was a standout in Game 3 as well. It's going to come for him. He is just getting too many good chances for one not to fall.
Nolan Byrne, by the way, is on the bench, actually on the floor now, just watching that ball go through him, and you can see some tape now on the right leg, peeking out of the shorts of Byrne. Oldman all the way up top through Soroketti. They'll go into the corner for Langille. Ducking out of the way was Little John, popped up, trying to catch that rebound that came off the end boards, hot and heavy.
About 10 minutes through the second period here. Lots of chances on both sides. Once again, both goalies, though, they've been right there all series.
Again, this has been a great game. Been a great series overall. Bucktooth out to the boards. Howard, far side, Innes. Slammed into there. Howard skip shot. Nice pickup there. Bucktooth as it came hot off the glass. Innes now shoots. Redlick is going to stop it, although he doesn't know where it is. Caught up in the equipment somewhere. Whitby 2 shots away from 40. A's 3 from the same mark. Julian Belair, nice pickup. Far side, Tryson Stewart. Last man out there, Langille. A bit late. Wonder if they're trying to decide if Byrne was going to make it out. Little John off of Wilson, straight up into the rafters, comes back down. Fresh 30 for Whitby.
Maybe a little too much space there if you're St. Catharines for 51.
Little John got it again in closer confines, but Wilson makes the save. Bouncer to Toll. 20 seconds away from the halfway mark of the period. Still waiting for our opening goal here in the third. Bucktooth flipping to Howard. Outside. Toll to Bucktooth. Faked the shot and then took it. And Redlick recovered nicely.
Bucktooth almost faked himself out there. I think he got Redlick so well with his first fake that he expected him to jump to the far side. Actually had the far side, but chose to shoot it short.
Here's Little John. Back check from Fear as Little John was winding ready to fire, and that forced it out of the stick.
I think he's getting frustrated. When you're such an elite talent like you talked about, the season he had, when things don't go your way, you do start to grip the stick a little bit because you feel that pressure of you need to be putting up the points.
Rawson over the top. A couple Warriors ran into each other. This one headed for, looked like the penalty box, but ends up in St. Catharines' bench. Soroketti. Byrne is out there now, going one-on-one with Savitz. Bit of a spin move to Belair. Backing out Soroketti. Byrne will set the screen. His man fell. It was Zavitz who's in pain over on the floor. And gets up jumping off, but definitely favoring the left leg.
Just something you never want to see a kid like Keaton who's given so much to this organization. Hopefully he's okay. Like we talked about, one of those fifth-year guys, you're going to have to drag him off the floor. If he can wrap that up, he'll be back out here. I'd expect it. But obviously never a good situation when you see a player of his caliber go down.
Feel like, I've said it before, it feels like he's played about 8 years of junior. I know his brother did the same. And
yeah, the Zavitz family has a lot of impact here in St. Catharines, and hopefully Keaton's all right.
yeah. By the way, the Pilon family, I didn't know was as well known as you guys are either. I always give Donville a hard time for holding court when he comes in. You seem to know a lot of people around here too.
Yeah, I've been around the game here a long time, so always nice to get to the rink. Be able to watch your brother as well is always an added thing. But yeah, a lot of love here in St. Catharines for this game of lacrosse, and me and my family are just lucky to be a part of it.
I know your dad's probably watching today. Shout out Dan. Prepping for the Minto Cup coming up here August 16th to 24th at the Meridian Center here in St. Catharines. Tickets now available at themintocup.com. Is where you can find all the information for that tournament. St. Catharines have booked their ticket, but don't want to get in on a technicality. They have said all year long they want to be there on merit as the Ontario champions and Ontario representatives. Oldman back to Langiel after the draw to restart play. Langiel turns and fires. That deflects off Littlejohn. Goes right back to Oldman. Nice swim move. Then gets stuffed. Shot wide. Littlejohn, one final opportunity. Does reset the shot clock. Although it's going to bounce right back to Ford.
You want to find that first one real soon if you're St. Catharines. Getting to that part of the game where, you know, they're bigger than they were in the first period now at this point, the goals. So the earlier you can get this back down to a one-goal game, the better.
8 minutes left to go. Bucktooth from his wrong side. Looking across for Rawson. Saw him go down moments ago. Hard defense there by Baxter, trying to stuff it in from the corner late in the shot clock, and he got pushed through the crease. Bucktooth trying to step in defense of the big man who gave a few shoves on his own.
If you're St. Catharines, not the trade-off you want is Rawson and Bucktooth getting into it down there with Belmonte.
Ty Gesso inside the line. Soroketti, no shot. Gesso far side. Byrne will rip. And again, looking to that 5-hole, but it bounces right back out. Tristan Stewart has it roll up to Gesso. Littlejohn to Byrne to the boards. Here's Soroketti taking a couple hacks. Stewart will come for the screen. The return pass fell there at the carpet, and Stewart just trying to keep it away from a couple athletics. About to run down. Saved by Byrne off the crossbar, and then Soroketti a good second chance. And Byrne, I mean, he can barely move out there. All he could do was put the arm up, and it ends up with a clothesline, and it's going to be a penalty here against Connor Blondin. Byrne about to head off. Unless St. Catharines can score with the extra attacker, Bucktooth. Looks like he's got kidney pads about to fall off under that jersey. The outside shot, Logan Fletcher scores. Second goal with the extra attacker for St. Catharines, and this one will pull them back within one.
Looks eerily similar to the same goal Gavin Howard scored in the first period there. As you see the penalty here first that comes up, right? Torchetti with a great chance. Blondin picks it up, and like you said, Byrne, he can barely move out there right now, right? So when you take down a guy like Blondin, that's what's going to happen. And then on the goal, obviously, Fletcher catches it on that short side and rips it, and it's just a big goal for him.
Makes it 5-4. Toll picking up his third point of the game.
Great patience by Toll there, just to wait, find the spot, found Fletcher on the backside. 2
of those 4 with extra attackers on delayed penalties. Rawson. Fletcher backing out of play. go to the far side. Back down to the crease. Tapper with the interception. Final 6 minutes here. It's all of a sudden a 1-goal game. Shots favor Whitby 42-39. Soroketti with Stewart coming off the bench. Soroketti jab step. Little John from the restraining line. That hits a pair of players in front. One of them Belair. He'll work free of his defender. Meanwhile, Little John dumped by Armstrong in front of the St. Catharines bench.
Armstrong, if you're watching from the outside, you may not realize how strong the kid is. He's an absolute freak in the gym, and he got a hold of Little John there and just put him wherever he wanted.
Here's Rawson. Down towards the corner, Bucktooth. He'll take top spot, no shot, still no shot off of Redlick, and it'll stay in the crease. Tyden Redlick playing back here to Faraday. Now Ryan Langiel. Byrne trailing. Tryson Stewart in behind him. Strong lefty set to Langiel on the crease. Intended for Gesso. He may have been in the crease as the ball arrived. And extra whistles here. Stewart took a shot at somebody headed off to the bench, but must have been a mix-up as that play was dying to keep it here with Whitby. Little John Soroketti. Byrne sets the screen. Return pass. Not enough room for Byrne to pick up. Soroketti now will retrieve it. Gesso. Hard pass to the corner. Belair behind his back to the cutting Gesso. Good shot. St. Catharines a bit nonchalant with it, trying to force that transition to Blondin. A's still able to keep with it, but trail by 1 with 4 to go. Bucktooth, last one out there. Here to Fletcher. Bucktooth up top, misses Toll, who slides, trying to keep it onside. And no room to run for Max Taylor, so he'll slow things down.
You see the benefit of playing Fletcher on offense there. Could have been a fast break for Whitby, but Fletcher, he's been playing defense most of the year, has no problem backtracking all the way back and cutting off transition.
Weather up. Inside the restraining line, plays it across to Stewart. Thought he had room to run. Twist shot, bounces off the foot of Wilson, up out of play. And if there is some good news, doesn't look like Zavit's going to return to this game, but he is standing in the tunnel watching from the glass, still in full gear. Little John here to Langiel, bounces off a defender. Tried to finesse it in, and it bounced off the side of the net. Athletics now with a chance. Stainhouse sets the screen for Innes. Return pass. Shot there, and penalty coming up here to Whitby. An illegal cross check. The 4th power play of the game coming up to the Athletics. Had 2 of them in the first period.
Comes right after. Yeah, it's right on the back there, right? Those are the ones that, like we said, if the stick gets up, you're on the number, it's going to be an easy call for the official most of the time. So now we got a power play with 3 minutes left. This is what the OJ is all about. Playoffs, game 4, 3 minutes left, and we got a 1-goal game.
Boy, oh boy, what a chance.
Just for your FYI.
Rawson from the outside. Shot there, Redlick. Rawson will pick up. Now Bucktooth. Toll up top. Back down in the corner, Rawson through Bucktooth. Now Toll. Calling for it with Stainhouse. No shot. They go to the side of the crease. And Redlick to his right. Nielsen going to take top spot now. Here's Toll. Back to Nielsen. 30 seconds gone in the penalty. Toll, low shot down to the butterfly Redlick.
Stealing the show right now. That backside save on Steinhaus was elite. If he can play like that, this power play might be able to wind down.
Ball's going to roll back to Soroketti, although quickly out of his stick and right to Josh Ford. Down in transition shot there. Redlick pounces on the rebound before it can clear his crease. You know, coming into the playoffs, there are questions about goaltending on both of these teams. I think no more questions.
No, I think those have all been put to bed by the play of these two.
Question period is over. Oldman, 40 seconds left in his power play. Under 2 minutes to go here in regulation time. Jack Oldman from the half board steps up. Swim move taken down by a trio of A's players, and that'll be the shot clock. .30 seconds remaining. Shot clock, penalty clock dead even as the Athletics set up perhaps for their final shot on this man advantage. Rawson taking top spot now. Around the back to Bucktooth. Tried to force it in through the side of the net. Still recovered. There by Howard, Rawson, and Bucktooth. Over through Nielsen. Now Toll. Penalty has expired. Oldman takes the spot of the penalized player. Rawson's bounce shot misses. Back here for Nielsen. Down low, the shot from Toll. Skips wide. 10 to shoot Rawson. They'll try Toll again. Quick stick here. Howard, it's in!
I mean, this is all Zach Toll here, right? The ball, a couple chances they had here. Zach's been taking that shot all game. As you can see, he takes it the first time. I think this plays into Redlick really buying in. Ball comes back, load up like he's shooting. And Gavin Howard with a great finish on a quick stick there. Puts it in the top corner. And we're tied up again, and this series continues to give.
39 seconds left in regulation is when Lucas Littlejohn tied game number 3. How about 42 seconds left here in game number 4? This time it's Gavin Howard and a big scrum for the faceoff. Oldman will pull it out and timeout called Whitby. 27.6 remaining.
What a loose ball there. You knew whoever got it was calling a timeout. I believe St. Catharines still has 2.
Yes.
But Whitby uses their last one there, and they're going to have the final chance of the game if all things go their way.
Here's one more look. As you said, Toll tried this shot about 3 different times on this power play set, and then the last little hitch at the last second.
They moved the ball really well on this man up, I thought. They had chances all around, but it was Redlick who just kind of stood his ground. It starts here, and I think it all starts with this shot.
Yes.
Zach takes that first look, which makes Redlick think he's not afraid to shoot from that zone. Sets up again, and then he does the skip to Howard. And it's a great backside look, and like I said, a hometown kid, you know, getting his team back into this game, there's no better feeling.
So 5-5 left here in regulation time. 27.6 left to go. If St. Catharines win it here, they'll advance to the second round. Whitby wins, they're headed home tomorrow.
Looks like they're going to lock off Littlejohn here with Armstrong.
Going to start contact on him already before the play even goes. Ty Jesso coming in to even up the numbers. Keaton Zavitz, even from the other side of the glass, with something to say. Whitby bench fired up. They want to play was blown in long ago. Wanted a call there as Burns shoots from the outside. The bouncer missed the mark. And for the second game in a row in this series, we are headed to extra time.
It's been a great series so far, and it's just only going to get better here. 2 exciting ends in the last one. Like you said, Littlejohn and Whitby, Howard here, and 2 low-scoring games. Only 4 goals in total since the end of that first period.
5-5 your score after regulation time. They'll put 10 minutes on the clock. Next goal wins. We'll have it for you in about 2 minutes One quick final break coming up. You're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs from here in St. Catharines. While Lucas Littlejohn was the hero in Whitby to send it to overtime for Whitby, then Lucas Nielsen, the game winner, back in game number 3. How about Gavin Howard in the final minute, taking us to free lacrosse? Will it be Whitby extending their season? Will it be St. Catharines booking their ticket to the second round? Next goal wins here at Canada Games Park. And a big face-off battle between Oldman and Fear. Pulled back through the legs, and Cromer secures it for the Warriors, who are out of timeouts here in the period. Steve Toll with 2. Can only use 1 here in this overtime period. Littlejohn to Byrne. Soroketti, the only other lefty over on that side. One-on-one here, Littlejohn. Just lifted it back towards the net. Ty Wilson was trying to block it from going in behind, and it bounced back in his crease.
Mitch Armstrong is not letting Lucas Littlejohn go a foot away from him. He has followed him all over the floor.
Lucas Littlejohn might not get back on the bus without Armstrong following him. Feared to Toll. Back to Bucktooth to Rawson. Oh, the left arm of Redlick again. Boy, oh boy. Langio. Soroketti trailing. He'll wait. 3 lefties set here. Byrne crashed through the middle. Soroketti has to play it off the glass. 5 left to shoot. Soroketti crashed into there, broke his stick. Still no shot as Armstrong picks it up. Headed out in transition. He'll put the brakes on, giving it back to Rawson. Chuck Rawson to the outside boards for Toll. Screen in front. Nielsen may have been a heavy one. Shot into the legs of Redlick. Wasn't aware. Backs up. And the rebound stays in his crease.
A couple big saves from Redlick early. That first one was absolutely elite. And then another one there off a weird play. Finds the dribbler.
Ethan Lee through Belair. Stewart back across to Oldman. Oldman has room, shoots off of Wilson. Right back in the direction of Byrne. He was tied up. It bounces back in the corner. Stewart there as well. Picked up Nolan. Byrne, couple fakes. Crashes in front there in the crease. And Armstrong, a big shove on Byrne. Ari Steinhaus taking off with the ball.
Byrne is fighting through it, and he's still making a huge impact here. That's what you love to see from a kid like him.
Outside, wrong side. Bucktooth. Shot skips off the boards and up into the crowd. We'll give it right back to Whitby.
You can feel the tension in this rink. It's almost quiet again, just with so much anticipation here with what's going to happen.
Max Weatherup to the outside. Soroketti. Ty Gesso. He'll put it into the stick of Langiel, who's been huge in the last 2 games. Onto the crease, stepping up to meet it, Ty Wilson. Rebound, though, falls in front of Soroketti. Can't pick it up clean. Gets knocked down. Weatherup will secure the possession. Little John. Back to Soroketti. He has had a rough and tumble game. Belair, Gesso. Back for Langiel, was looking for the pass before he brought it down. And now Soroketti around his screen. Shoots low. Save made Wilson. Rebound falls just inside the fan where it's picked up here.
Couple good looks there for Whitby. Just can't bury, but multiple chances again. Ty Wilson.
Toll and Rawson on the hidden ball play. Flipped back to Nielsen. Cutting through the middle. Bucktooth. A little fake first time. And second time he's tried that shot, and it hasn't worked. Rolls back to Cody Innes. Back to the outside. No look. One-handed Innes. Oh, on the crease. Got sat on afterwards, and it looks like he's getting up slowly.
Could have added to his little highlight reel that he had the Around the World a couple of weeks ago. That would have been pretty.
Here's Oldman after the fake from Byrne. Gives it to him for real on the far side. Halfway through the shot clock. Byrne the bouncer! Snake bit through the series. Fighting through everything he's got. And not going to let his season end prematurely. Heads off to the floor and straight to the bus. Game 5 tomorrow. Whitby's still alive.
He's been fighting through it all night here, and it's not, maybe the most premium scoring area, but he gets down the alley and he just throws a bouncer and he makes Ty think he's going high, and he just buries it 5-hole. What a big goal for Whitby to drag St. Catharines back to Iroquois Park tomorrow.
4 o'clock start time out at Iroquois Park. As you said, only way to see that game is to be there in person. Unfortunately, Whitby St. Catharines for the series, and that may cost a few dollars. A little salute on the way out, but both buses headed back to Whitby. Your final score, Whitby, 6 goals off 51 shots, 5 for the Athletics off 48. What a game, what a series, all tied up to decider tomorrow at 4 for Keelan Pilon. Our director, Rachel Wolf, our producer, Gary Morrison, the JVI Sports Network, and the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. I've been Matthew Carrick. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you next round.